Welcome back, operators. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to thank every one of you for your patience, your feedback, and your continued support. Scope 3 has grown because of this community, your ideas, your testing, and your trust in what we're building together. Each version brings us closer to a system that feels alive, precise, reactive, and built around the way you play. And with this new release, that vision becomes clearer than ever. Thank you for staying with us through every update, every test, and every breakthrough. Now, let's step into what's next. Introducing Scope 3, version 1.0.6. Let's go over what's new. We've added a new identifier system for auto push-to-talk. Now, you can clearly see which key or key combination is currently active. First, open the Scope 3 application. Navigate your mouse to the Auto Push-to-Talk label and left-click. To use it, set your push-to-talk key, or keys as usual. Then, while not selected on the Push-to-Talk window, press your assigned switch key. Simply click on your desktop or any other open window, while the Push-to-Talk window remains visible. Then press the switch key. This method is especially useful while in-game, letting you change modes without interrupting gameplay. This feature is still in beta and will continue to evolve for smoother, more intuitive control. An orange marker will appear to show which key you're currently on. Instant visual confirmation, no more guessing. This update improves clarity, speed, and workflow for every Scope 3 operator, whether you're communicating, switching modes, or managing multiple inputs at once. And this is only the beginning of what's coming in version 1.0.6. Introducing Rail Companion, a core extension of the Scope 3 ecosystem. Built for precision, movement, and control, Rail Companion bridges human input and system response, transforming how players interact with motion inside the Scope 3 environment. Similar to how we open Auto Push-to-Talk, you're going to navigate by opening up the Scope 3 UI. Click on the Rail Companion label, and you should see your Rail Companion window appear. At the top, it says Sight button. This is what you'll select for your sight key in games, also known as your aim down sight key. Once that's bound, we're going to look at the first feature. Introducing Breath Holder. Before enabling Breath Holder, make sure to set your key to match your hold breath key in your game. Each game may vary, and you can also set a custom delay for activation. Once configured, simply aim down sights, and your breath will automatically be held after the set delay on the selected breath holder key. Standstill mode is designed for games where moving left or right cancels your breath hold action. When this happens, enable standstill mode to automatically reapply the breath holder key, ensuring smooth operation during those situations. Disclaimer: not every feature in Rail Companion will work in all first-person shooters. It's highly recommended to use these functions in high simulation game environments for the best experience. This is a short demo. We're using the Game Ground branch on Steam. Here's an example without breath holder applied. Notice how the character's breathing continues while aiming. And now, this is an example with breath holder applied. Listen closely to the character's breath as it steadies and holds during aim. This shows how breath holder enhances stability and control, creating a smoother, more natural aiming experience in tactical environments. Now that we've covered breath holder, let's move on to a new feature within Rail Companion: Auto Lean. Auto Lean allows your character to lean left or right using your selected keys, giving you quicker reaction time and smoother cornering when engaging or taking cover. Let's navigate to the Auto Lean section within Rail Companion to begin setup. When you enable Auto Lean by itself, without ADS mode, simply walk left and right as normal. Auto Lean will automatically adjust your stance, shaping a more natural close-quarters combat posture. When ADS mode is enabled, your sight key must be held before the lean posture mechanics activate. This ensures that Auto Lean only engages while you're aiming down sights, giving you precise control in every situation. Disclaimer: Auto Lean only functions in games that simulate leaning mechanics and include dedicated lean controls. Additionally, Scope 3 Rail Companion is highly recommended for use only in simulation-based games, where realistic movement and input behavior are properly supported. AutoLean was engineered from the ground up to serve one clear purpose: to make high-fidelity, tactical movement feel effortless. At its core, it's about reducing the small, clumsy moments between intent and action, the twitch, the mistimed lean, the awkward reposition, so your muscle memory can take over when it matters most. This feature smooths posture, refines timing, and streamlines input transitions, so your hands and body don't fight the game. They flow with it. In close-quarter situations where split-second adjustments determine the outcome, AutoLean minimizes friction and preserves the natural rhythm of real CQB movement, letting you perform techniques with less conscious effort and more instinct. Built for realism first, AutoLean prioritizes fidelity over gimmicks. It respects the game's native controls and only engages where leaning mechanics exist, shaping your stance and movement to feel more organic rather than forced. The result is a system that supports your motor patterns, reinforcing training, sharpening reactions, and making complex maneuvers feel like second nature. Use AutoLean to tighten your execution in tight spaces. Move with intention. Trust your reflexes, and let the mechanics align with how you think and train. This is about enabling clean, repeatable movement at the level players and teams demand from true simulation environments. For example, AutoLean helps the flow of slicing the pie, stacking, corner clearing soft and fast, button hook entry, dynamic entry, room entry, and immediate action drills, shoulder peek and shoulder swap, lean peek and pop peek, over and under, transition peeks, blind corner checks, breach and clear sequences, and peek to engage maneuvers, making those techniques feel smooth, natural, and repeatable in high-fidelity encounters. This demo uses Ground Branch on Steam. It showcases the flow of AutoLean in a close-quarters battle environment. Watch how posture, timing, and input transitions link together, from slicing the pie to room entry drills, and notice how movement becomes smoother and more instinctive in tight engagements. Let's move on to the next feature in Rail Companion, introducing Auto Run. Auto Run keeps your movement consistent without needing to hold your forward key. It's built for long advances, tactical repositioning, and those extended moments where awareness matters more than constant input. With Auto Run enabled, you maintain momentum, free up your focus, and stay ready for whatever's ahead. Let's navigate to the Auto Run section in the Rail Companion UI. Simply select your activation key for Auto Run, and then enable Auto Run. Once it's active, press your assigned activation key to start running. There's no need to press W, just steer with your mouse. Auto Run can also be used for vehicles, making long-distance driving smoother and more comfortable. Disclaimer: when using Auto Run, make sure left shift is bound to every run key in your game's settings, if it isn't already. This ensures smooth and consistent functionality across all supported simulation environments. In this short demo, we'll be using the game titled Operation Harsh Doorstop on Steam. This demonstration will showcase how Auto Run maintains steady forward momentum while allowing full control of your aim and camera, whether you're on foot or behind the wheel. Let's move on to the next feature in Rail Companion, introducing Zuzu Shot. Zuzu Shot also suppresses enemy compression, similar to how in real life, a soldier might crouch quickly to reduce incoming pressure and create compression effects that change the engagement. Zuzu Shot was created to reproduce the natural variability of sustained fire. When enabled, it introduces a controlled increase in bullet spread so your rounds cover a wider area. Use it to temporarily create a larger impact zone when you need to distribute fire across space. At longer ranges, aim slightly below your target before firing. At closer ranges, aim a little below the target for a wider, but more contained spread. Zuzu Shot was created for dynamic, real-life mimicking scenarios, situations where soldiers manually evade compression. It models that behavior, so engagements feel authentic and responsive to the flow of combat. Disclaimer: The use of Zuzu Shot is recommended only in simulation environments. It was not designed for competitive gameplay. Let's navigate to the Zuzu Shot area in the Rail Companion UI. In the drop-down menu, select your in-game bind for the crouch key that corresponds with the game you're using. If you select and enable hipfire mode, Zuzu Shot will activate automatically whenever you fire your weapon. Please note that Zuzu Shot is designed specifically for fully automatic weapons. If you disable hipfire mode, while Zuzu Shot is still enabled, it will only activate when you aim down sights and fire. Tap firing your weapon is how you control the overall size of your pattern and compression effect. Short, controlled bursts create tighter impact areas, while longer bursts increase the area of engagement, allowing you to adjust your fire behavior naturally based on the situation. Zuzu Shot is intended for simulation-based games and mimics real-life ballistic science to deliver a more immersive and authentic shooting experience. For real-life tactical integration, gun and combat enthusiasts and veterans can appreciate and study the behavior it recreates. In this demo, we'll be using the Steam game Ground Branch. This demonstration shows Zuzu Shot operating in a live environment, highlighting how it behaves during standard engagement and movement scenarios within a realistic setting. In this demo, you can see the combatant positioned in a hardpoint. Zuzu Shot is being used to suppress the enemy with a wide pattern of fire, creating compression and maintaining control of the engagement. It's a safe and effective way of putting rounds down range while managing distance, cover, and pressure on the opposing force. To further the demonstration, here's the point of view from the receiving end of the engagement. This perspective shows how Zuzu Shot maintains consistent pressure and presence across the engagement zone, illustrating how sustained fire influences movement, cover, and reaction under simulated combat conditions. Notice how defensive and quick this engagement was resolved, with Zuzu Shot being used from the opposing end. The response is immediate, controlled, and efficient, showing how the feature maintains realistic reaction timing and combat pacing under pressure. The rest of the Rail Companion features are pretty self-explanatory, so we'll be moving on to the Scope 3 core update next. Scope 3 has added 2 new features to its core. The first item added to the Scope 3 core has been one of the most heavily requested features by the community. I've been working on this for a while now, but it's finally here. Your headaches are gone. Enable Zoom Mode custom keybinds. First, open Scope 3's UI. Then click on the Keybinds label. You'll see a small window appear on the right. Here you'll find 2 options, Enable Zoom and Toggle Zoom. Both are set to N/A by default, meaning no keybind is currently assigned. To set them, select your desired key from the drop-down menu beside each option. If you want to use a combination instead of a single key, enable the multi-key switch on the right, then select your preferred key combination. Once you've selected your keys, click the check mark at the top right to save your new bindings. Let's hop into the final core Scope 3 feature that's been added. Multi-monitor mode is now supported in Scope 3. This update makes Scope 3 monitor specific, ensuring that zoom effects stay contained to one screen and no longer bleed across multiple monitors. Let's start off by opening Scope 3's UI. If you have more than one monitor, select Multi-Monitor Mode by clicking the Multi-Monitor Mode slider. When enabled, the zoom will only take place on the monitor labeled 2 in your system's display setup. Make sure to configure your monitors in Windows Display Settings or through the NVIDIA control panel so that your gaming monitor is set as Monitor 2. Once that's done, use Scope 3 as you normally would. Disclaimer: all games must be run in windowed full-screen mode for multi-monitor mode to function properly. When not using multi-monitor mode, you do not need to run your games in windowed full-screen mode. That concludes the update patch notes for version 1.0.6. I want to take a moment to say thank you to everyone who's joined the Discord community. Your feedback and support continue to shape Scope 3's development. If you're having trouble finding the Discord, you can locate the link directly on the Scope 3 Steam page. Good morning, good evening, and good night.